Cyclone Narelle making landfall near Exmouth on tonight's tropical weather bulletin. Bulletin for March 27th. On the map of world tropics, Cyclone Narelle is still active, making its fourth landfall near Exmouth as a Category 3. We are code red currently for Cyclone Narelle. Here's the forecast for Narelle. We currently have winds of 120 miles per hour and a pressure of 942 millibars. It is expected to move inland and very rapidly weaken before turning extratropical in around 36 hours. In the Atlantic, the first names are Arthur and Bertha. Eastern the Central Pacific is Lala and Moki. In the Western Pacific, the next names are Selaku, followed by Hecate. Indian Ocean, Arnab, followed by Murasi. In the Southwest Indian Ocean, the next name is Indusa, followed by Deluca. South Pacific, Vayanu, followed by Wadi. In the Australian region, the next name is Oran, followed by Pita. Indonesian department, Cempaka, followed by Dahlia. And in the South Atlantic, the next name is Andy.
Here's the model run. This is the GFS specifically. There is Narelle. This does not have the last roughly 2 days loaded. But there's Narelle, makes landfall, just goes straight down the west coast near Coral Bay right there. And just turns extratropical and dissipates. Another tropical storm forms right here. And then we have 978 millibars, so that's a moderate Category 1 at the end of this. Alright, let's go to the South Pacific because there's some very interesting stuff happening. We're going to ignore that massive system right there for a second. They had a storm forming in the R4C initially. It looks like they've canceled on that. And now we have this massive South Pacific system here, peaking at 898 millibars. That is I could fairly confidently say that's a Category 5. Well into the range of a Category 5, I can say that. And that holds on to a very high intensity. It's such a far south latitude. Normally, most storms struggle to hold tropical storm status below here, and this storm holds on to major status from the looks of it. Although that does appear to be an extratropical cyclone by the end of that, but I digress. An 898 millibar system. They've been consistent on this very, very powerful cyclone for a while. Yesterday, I know they had even lower than this. They had it in the low 890s. But even still, that's certainly something we need to watch for. This is 2 weeks out, but still, it's certainly something we need to watch for. Not even 2 weeks, it's just over 1 week. But still, that is definitely something we need to watch in case that happens, because this is, if this sub-900 storm happens, this is not a 100% accurate track model. If it goes towards Fiji or Vanuatu, that could be absolutely catastrophic. But I don't believe we have really, well, if I remember correctly, there was a West Pacific storm forming. Yep, right there. I was about to say doesn't get particularly strong, but there you go, 963 millibars. That's a borderline Category 2-3. Looks like that is weakening by the end of that model run, though. Although that could be just typical storm pressure being wobbly, which happens quite a bit in the Western Pacific. But looking at the satellite now, because I highly doubt they have anything in the Atlantic. Here is Narelle. Sarah imagery, this is easier to tell. This storm was looking quite impressive earlier today. Obviously, based off our analysis, it did reach a Category 4 status again. But you can see, I believe we have now officially a landfall that is just southwest of Exmouth. Just southwest of Exmouth, I do think we have landfall at this point. Like I said, probably is a moderate Cat 3, maybe low end, but either way, it was a Category 4 earlier today. It has since weakened after it has basically just dive bombed straight south. You can see right here, it basically just been moving straight south this entire time. Hasn't started turning more southwest until recently, but overall, I mean, I don't really need to comment on cloud tops, other than the fact that the rainfall is really going to pick up when this northern side gets through. Because the southern side's a little bit dry. The southern side's mostly where you have the much, much more powerful winds. Obviously, very, very high wind gusts in Exmouth earlier today. In excess of baseline Category 4 status. It was about 140 miles an hour was their highest gusts. But visible, daytime is just starting to come over the storm, so we're going to look at true color. Doesn't look awful, and you can see earlier I was talking about this storm really was looking very impressive earlier today, but it has since degraded since the sea surface temperatures are dropping and just land interaction. Speaking of sea surface temperatures, for Narelle right now, let's zoom in here. Narelle's right around here. You can see 27 degrees Celsius, I believe, which is 81 degrees Fahrenheit, I believe. So, they're still decent. It's mostly just the storm has the sea surface temperatures have been dropping, so the land interaction's starting to get to it. But elsewhere around the world, you can see over here in the Atlantic, you know, pretty typical for the Atlantic at this time of year. You got those highest temperatures mostly just in the southern Caribbean. Eastern Pacific is really blowing up some high sea surface temperatures there. 30 degrees Celsius, 86 degrees Fahrenheit. You can see it's a little iffy on the coastlines of Central America, but generally, I mean, just a bunch of different numbers, but generally it's around between 27 to 29. That's between 81 to 84 Fahrenheit. So very, very high for the Eastern Pacific at this time of year. Western Pacific is looking a little bit higher than usual, but this is still relatively normal. You can see mostly highest temperatures obviously in the deep tropics. That storm is expected to form right around here and then move upwards. So you can see it's forming down here in these highest sea surface temperatures between 29 to 30 degrees Celsius. And it's going to move northwestern, and by the end of that model run, it's probably around here is when those sea surface temperatures are going to start falling off. North Indian Ocean's looking pretty normal for this time of year. 26 right here. Between 26 to 29 in the Bay of Bengal. Got a couple spots of 30 on the west coast of India. And the Arabian Sea is looking pretty normal, relative. Southwest Indian Ocean looking very, very good off the west coast of Madagascar. You can see 30 degrees Celsius, but the majority of the basin is between 28 to 29 degrees Celsius. That's between 82 and 84 Fahrenheit. Then obviously where Narelle is, piping hot. Well, near where Narelle is. The initial model run, which is very well could still happen, had a storm forming up here near the R4C, basically just going down the coast of Australia, right here, going through these 30 degrees Celsius waters and intensifying. I believe it was up in the high teens or the low 920s. That's a very, very powerful storm. These South Pacific waters are something we really, really need to watch in case that situation happens, because that storm is forming up around here, basically just 30 degrees Celsius for its entire lifespan. I feel like, really, if that situation happens, we're looking at a very, very powerful cyclone. If a tropical cyclone forms right here, we're probably looking at a high-end Category 4 at least. So that's a very bad situation. Again, if that deviates towards land, that is obviously something we need to watch. But yeah, those islands are... Granted, it's a week and a half out, so it could still change. But for the most part, we need to watch that in case that does happen, because that's a very powerful cyclone, potentially. Yeah, we don't have any other storms active right now across the world. We have, actually, one second, where's the world map at? It's the remnants of Cyclone 28P, which is an extratropical cyclone now, affecting New Zealand, and Invest 99W, which, this is, I believe, what they're forecasting to become that typhoon. Very high sea surface temperatures under it right now, but overall, we're not really expecting much from this anytime soon. I can see overall pretty disorganized. But yeah, we're not really expecting anything from that anytime soon. But obviously the main focus is Narelle, which JTWC is running a little bit stronger than us by winds and a little bit weaker by pressure. We're running with 125, 947. Yeah, overall, Narelle's happening. Narelle's on its way out. It's been active for 10 days at this point. And that's really it for tonight's Tropical Weather Bulletin. Obviously, there's going to be a Cyclone Narelle track video coming out next week after this storm. But that's it for Narelle, so that's it for this entire Weather Bulletin. Like, subscribe, and goodbye.